NERDSoul.
Late kid at OneYoungsta hold it down, bringing that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people? Today, oh yeah, coming with another wonderful episode of that's right, NERDSoul Gaming. Glad to see your beautiful sunshiny faces. We are here in those Twitter spaces. That's right. That's right. And in these Twitter spaces, I'm not by myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm joined by an awesome guest, the one, the only, Open Mind. What's up?
What the deal, fam? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
What's happening, people? This is your boy Open Mind, and we finna give y'all this FGC fire talk tonight.
Yeah,
I hope.
yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
I'm excited for this one.
Mm-hmm.
So we need a full debrief, but I want to set the scene for y'all. You know, we were all kicking it. We were all chilling, waiting for new games. We were waiting for new fighting games like Corrupt or like KOF, or we were just waiting for new fighting games. What was going? We didn't know what was going to happen next with Street Fighter 5. Was it going to be another season, or was it we going to hear something about Street Fighter 6 or something? We were just waiting. Then all of a sudden, a trailer comes out for this game. It looks cool. We got these characters. They ain't even got names. They just got like job titles. It's like accountant. You know what I'm saying? It's like cashier, accountant. You know what I'm saying? Tax preparer. You know what I'm saying? That's all we had. with these cool combos, and we were like, oh snap. Who this? You know what I'm saying?
Right, just naming them by their titles and stuff instead of their name.
Yeah, like who this? And then we found the name was gonna be DNF Duel, and most of us was like, I have no idea what this is, but it looked sweet. Had cool music, looked cool, and we had no inkling of like where it was coming from. We knew ARCSys was working on it, so we know ARCSys. Everybody loved him, so we was excited. ARCSys on the low. I mean, I saw that trailer for Arc Revo, and this year with Arc. Look, on the real though, I mean, on the real, if I could be real, son, you know what I'm saying? I'm more excited than watching an Arc Revo event than watching a Capcom Pro Tour event. I'm just gonna keep y'all really real on that. But that's a whole nother thing. We got a chance to get not only one beta, but now the second open beta for DNF Duel has commenced, if you will. And
it's come and gone.
Well, it's come and gone. And the gentleman, aka Sensei Open Mind, was part of both open betas.
Yeah, I played both betas.
So we have him here. We have him here tonight to give us a debrief on the status of the game, where the game is going, how he's feeling about the game, all that jazz. So if I could, I guess, going to give us an idea of, to you, kind of what DNF Duel is now that you've gotten through the second beta.
One word: dope. Well, of course, there's more words than just one. All right, we got to talk about this in more than one word. But just overall, the game is just dope. Right? It's dope. There's now, I would say I can't complain. Then I'll be lying, because there's always something to complain about. Right? Yeah, it's just not enough. It's not enough to deter me from buying. Right? The little gripes I got about the game is not going to prevent me from getting it when it drops in June. But overall analysis of this game, if you've played a Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, if you've played that game specifically, the move inputs are the same. Everything is centered around your special attack button, whatever that button is on your controller. For me, it's the X button on the PlayStation, but whatever controller you're using, the button layout is pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, starting from the square button, triangle, circle, X, 1, 2, 3, 4. And You got your basic normals. It's a Gatling system. It's a system of Gatlings where not every character, but some characters have multi-hit buttons. So as you do your 1, 2, 3, 4 Gatling combo, and not Gatling like Guilty Gear Strive, Gatling like Battle for the Grid and Marvel vs. Capcom.
Okay.
That type of Gatling, where all 4 of your hits connect. Whereas Strive has a Gatling system, but it's more like 3 hits, maybe 2 or 3 hits at the most. And then after the 3rd hit, you have to do a special move or something, or a Roman cancel, because you don't get a follow-up 4th hit that's going to connect. That 4th hit is not going to connect because your character is not going to attack. Like that 3rd hit, they're done with their basic normal Gatling. So your next move after the 3rd hit on Guilty Gear Strive is a special move or a Roman cancel or stop, bait them in, and reset your thing, reset your attack.
Yeah.
But on this game, DNF Duel, it's an actual Gatling system where it's 1, 2, 3, 4 special attack, and then do a move. But the special attack button is where all of your moves are sent around. You press back directional and special attack, you'll do a move. Down, forward, up, all 4 directions, and then the attack button, and that's a special move in of itself. Or you could just press a special attack button raw with no directions, and that also does a different special move.
Nice.
So your special move, so all of your special moves for everybody on the roster, the same inputs is for everybody. There's no special inputs for any special characters. Is the special button, the special attack button. That button is your special move, as well as variations of the special move with the different directional buttons. But your normal attacks is a Gatling system. So what that is that allows for a lot of mix up and baiting and 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2 instead of the whole Gatling. Anything it's very freestyle. That's another aspect. So the first aspect is the fighting is a Gatling system.
Okay.
The normal attack, the whole approach to the game, round 1 fight is Gatling. You want to get in and you want to start your combos from 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way up till you build up to a 25, 30 hit combo, whatever you can get. But that's the first thing. Second thing is the freestyle aspect of it. The game is literally freestyle. So there is more than one way to play with the character. You have the basic way, which is the character's basic Gatling system that they have, whatever that character is.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have, but here's what sets this game apart from other Gatling system games. In this game, you can interrupt your own Gatling at any point you want to. So say for instance, I'm trying to paint this picture as best I can for the listener. Marvel vs. Capcom, for example, you have to do the whole Gatling before you can do another move, right? Or you can interrupt it, but it won't feel the same. Where this game is, you're transitioning into the next move. So it's a Gatling system, but there's also a transition system where you can start an attack stream and you can interrupt your attack stream. Let's say, for example, I got Hitman. I use Hitman as my main. Hitman has multi-hit buttons. So he has his circle button or number 3 button, right? The number 3 attack. You press that button 1 time and it's an 8-hit combo if it connects. If it confirms, it's 8 hits. And what you can do is you can wait till it hits all 8 before you transition, or you can interrupt it at the 4th hit, 2nd hit, so on and so forth, if I'm painting the picture right.
Okay.
So this particular system allows you have a character that has multi-hit buttons where you press one button and that just one button is a multi-hit combo just by itself. Before you go to the second button, that button is a multi-hit. Even if it's 2 hits, that's still a multi-hit. And then the third button, which in Hitman's case, he has an 8-hit combo for his button, but everybody's different. Every character doesn't have multi-hits. But using his as an example, if you see any of my fights with Hitman, you'll see where I'm transitioning. It might not look right if you haven't played the game yet, but I can let all 8 of the hits hit, or I can transition because I'm mashing into a special move and finish off my combo. So that's the second aspect of it. It's very That's the third aspect of it. I said that second. The third aspect is that you can transition and interrupt your own Gatling to make a freestyle like combo. So that's what the freestyle aspect of DNF Duel is, that you yourself are going to decide how the character plays. The character comes with a basic set of moves, a basic, one system of that's just for that character. But you don't have to play with that character exactly like the YouTubers or the tryhards, if you will, the guys who are gonna, once this game come out, they all gonna do the little video analysis on it, and they're gonna tell you to play with this character this way. This is the best way to play with this character. And I'm here to tell you, before June even comes, July, August, September, whichever YouTuber egotistically tries to make that video, I'm telling you, I'm debunking it before the video even comes out, that there is no one way to play with these characters. So before they even start with a tier list, because they finna come with the tier list.
The tier list is coming.
You know it's coming. I'm telling you, this is not that type of fighting game. Even though the pros and the high level guys and the guys with the big followings on their YouTube are going to make a tier list because it's just what they do.
That's just what you do. That's what you have to. That's what you have to do.
I'm telling you that this fighting game isn't the fighting game where the tier list is like, well, this character's S tier and this character's low tier. No, because every character can do something to each character on the roster. It's something like a counter pick system, right?
Okay.
So for example, so far the characters they've given us, right? The first beta, I noticed that each character is another character's weakness, right? Each character, every character on that roster is a nemesis to another character on that roster, but just one, right?
Okay.
So let's say, for example, I'll give this tech out for right now, and I didn't want to give this away, but forget it. They'll figure it out anyway. Take Gunslinger, for example, the guy with the guns with the hat, and then take Crusader. Crusader is very slow, and his hammer is slow, and he actually is one of the few characters that don't have a Gatling system. Don't have one for Gatling. That's multi-hit. He don't. But because he doesn't have a Gatling, he makes up for it in damage. But here's the thing: even though he's slow, and even though the Gunslinger is fast with them buttons and them fast with them pistols, I mean, pop, full screen, it's really hard to get away from it. Crusader is still his weakness because Crusader has an air projectile, 2 air projectiles, meaning he could jump at full screen away from your guns if you're a gunslinger and hammer you with that air spear. Or if he's in his bubble form, he could jump in the air and leave his bubble in the air, come back down, sacrifice his bubble, and then the bubble rings down lasers covering the whole screen. You can block them, but I can dash in on you, and once the laser's animation is finished, I can grab you, I can do whatever I want to do with you because you're stuck in the block string. You're stuck in the block situation where these lasers are raining down on you, because he can go into his bubble. You can keep the bubble on him to kind of like buff his hammer, making his hammer lightning, or you can jump in the air and do a button command, and what he does is he'll leave the bubble in the air. He'll come out of it, which means you're sacrificing his bubble, and the bubble will just rain down lasers on your opponents, filling the screen up with lasers. They have to block it, because if they don't, that's a 6-hit combo that bounces them in the air for you to possibly get a juggle with him if they're not blocking. More than likely, they're going to block because those lasers are going to come down. They're going to block, and while they're blocking, the lasers is getting some chip damage, but it's holding them hostage and blocking. You can dash in and do whatever you want to do. The Crusader is the gunslinger's weakness. And not that this information was given to us by the Arc System people. You just learn this from playing. I learned that certain matchups for certain characters, you got to play with this specific character to have the best chance to win against this specific character. This is a game where I'm glad that they made the move list the way it is across the board, so that you can literally play with the whole roster. Even if you don't necessarily, one more thing. Even if you don't necessarily like said character, you can still actually be good with the character because of the way the button inputs are. So you can say, I don't like this character. I don't like his. You can't say I don't like this character's buttons because everybody's buttons is the same. Literally, everybody's buttons are.
Okay.
It's just that the move that they're gonna do when you press that button is gonna be different. Of course, each character has a different move. It looks different. The animation is gonna be different. This guy's got a weapon. This guy's got a spear. That guy's got a sword. That guy's got an axe. So on and so forth. So they have different weapons and different moves visually, but the actual input is the same for everybody. There is no variation. Everybody's moves are the same. So you can't say, I don't like this character's buttons. I don't like that character. Well, you might not like the way the character looks. You might not like the way the character animations look. But as far as their buttons are the same across the board. And it behooves everybody to at least be somewhat adept at the whole roster. Even if you favor a character that you're gonna like, whatever that character is, still experiment with the rest of the roster so that in case you run into somebody who's picking a character, maybe you're not super good with the character, but you can counter pick them and have a chance to win. That's what I'm seeing so far until something changes. What DNF Duel is, it's a counter pick fighting game where it will behoove you to learn the basics, if nothing else. If you're not super godlike, just learn the basics of the whole roster, and then go back to whatever your character is that you like using. And then the minute somebody picks a character that's a counter pick for your character, you can get off your character and go pick somebody else to beat them. So go ahead. I just wanted to get that out for you. What you said. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, I'm glad you brought up a couple things that I wanted to hit in this conversation. So, one, I did want to make a statement that I made in your live stream last night when I was watching, and I was like watching other people's videos as well. Rufomonger had a video of him playing with Crusader. I was looking at some videos of people putting up Kunoichi combos, some Inquisitor stuff. I saw a Ghostblade video. And the comment that I made was, it really looks like every character in this game has a fair chance. You know how you look at some games and you're like, okay, this character is not made to be competitive. Like the character is just here for fun. Like in Street Fighter, like Dan is kind of there just to kind of be there. He's there as well. Essentially, he was initially made as kind of like thumbing their nose at SNK, but the character's kind of a joke. So Dan exists, but Dan kind of just takes up some space from a character that could be really cool. So
with the exception of Street Fighter V's Dan, Street Fighter V's Dan is actually a legit solid character.
Okay. All right, then I retract my previous statement for SF5.
No, keep the statement. What you said is absolutely true. It just don't apply to Street Fighter V Dan. That's all.
Okay. So that's one thing I was like, hey, it seems like every character has a solid, honest chance to actually win in this game, like, to be competitive. And then I wanted to go on to bring up the Gatling system, since you brought it up and you brought up the buttons. I saw on a couple of Reddit threads people already between the first beta and this beta kind of, how should we say, perturbed at how, quote, easy the game is. And they're gonna come out. So their feeling is the game is too easy. It's basically like Smash Brothers. It's not even competitive. It's not interesting to play. And
I think that's not I think that's not fair. That's not fair. But I'm gonna let you finish, and I'm gonna rebut that.
Yeah, their idea is that it's just so simple that anyone can play in the world, and it's not even, why even pick it up when it's just so simple? It's like child's play. And the way I see it, at least, is if this game is so easy to pick up, then that should, one, hopefully, be able to get more people into the game to at least check it out, try it out, things of that nature. And if it's really easy to pick up, that should hopefully raise the talent level, because now this game isn't really so much about your technical skill, but more about your reactions and your style and your approach to the matchup. But I also know that as FGC, most of us are used to the very technical, because it's a barrier. You know what I'm saying? It's it's like, hey, you don't know about footsies, you don't know about activating this, you don't know about using this EX3, you don't, and if you don't know about these specialized things, then you can't win. And I'm happy that you don't know about these things, because I'm the one who bought the gamer's guide and watched 40 hours of tutorials, and I sat in the training room for 80 hours for the special tech for the certain situation, where now it's a little different than in how I have to approach the more competitive side of this. But I want to throw it to you and get your thoughts on that.
Well, I want to rebut the entire notion that this game is simple. Like I'm gonna say simple. That this game is too easy. There's no such thing as a too easy fight game. Here's the thing. Here's why that statement by that individual or those individuals is just completely false. We have the beta, right? So we don't have the full game. We there's a lot of stuff we just can't do yet because we don't have a practice mode to see what we can do. We still don't even know the true power of the conversion, which is a mechanic in this game that nobody yet to understand. My understanding of conversion is that it just makes your meter cheaper, because everything is built around meter on this game, and you start off with 100. As you take damage and give damage, your meter eventually builds itself to 200, maxes out. So as you use meter, you'll have 200 meter, but you won't have a lot of life. And if you go into the conversion state, that supposedly gives you like a meter discount. A move that costs 50 to do may cost 30 or 25 or something. I don't know the exact numbers, but that's the concept. But that's what I think it is. I'm still not sure 100% what conversion really is in that game. So, which means we would need a practice mode, which we didn't have in this beta. There was no practice mode. It was just player matches and room. And y'all just go and y'all start fighting and y'all start mashing buttons until you win and lose and figure out what you're actually doing with your character. I have not mastered this game. I've been doing well in the beta. I've got clips after clips after clips that I just haven't posted yet, and I'll get around to it. But I still don't say that I've mastered the game. Anybody who arrogantly feels as though they've mastered this game during the beta is just lying to themselves. The beta was for us to try the game out, see if we like this type of fighting, right? This creation of a fighting game, and I do. I love it. I love the approach. I love the graphics. I love the simple combo system, the simple attack system. But there's no fighting game is simple. That's just, even Smash Brothers has an element of technical and strategy. You can't just mash on Smash Brothers.
Yeah, because once you face someone, you're not only playing the game, you're also playing
the person.
That person and how they play the game.
And nobody is a robot. Nobody is AI. So you're gonna get a human who's gonna bait you. They're gonna not attack. They're gonna turtle. They're gonna be on the offensive where they're just constantly attacking, and there's no break in between their attacks. You got a lot of different approaches to a fighting, and every opponent is gonna fight you different. And like I said at the top of the show, these characters are not just what you see them to be just because you watched a few clips, or even if you actually played with the character and you got a few wins and you think you figured something out. There's still some things, there's still some combo routes that we haven't discovered. There's still some juggles and some tech that we just have not discovered because we don't have a practice mode. Everybody's coming at on this beta. Everybody's coming at each other you start a fight and y'all just start mashing. Nobody's like really sitting still and learn how to play the game. So what me and the crew did the other night, the last day of the beta, we did the stream, and it was my idea to just not go at it, not fight each other to see who's good. Let's just, since it's casual mode, and you can actually set the settings to 5 rounds, 99 seconds, infinite clock, whatever. We can just stand there and just really discover and practice. We're not competitive right now. We don't have a practice mode, so we had to. I was just being creative on my previous live stream, of which it was the last day of the beta. Let's all get together and just go into a room and just fucking practice, right? I'm gonna stand still. I'll be the training dummy. You be the training dummy, whatever the fuck it is. And we're gonna go through every character on this roster, and we're gonna fucking mash. But I'm sorry for cussing. We're gonna mash buttons, and we're gonna really try to figure out these characters as far as what they can do, each matchup, what we did the best we could with the time we had, right? And we still didn't discover everything, bro. Like we that live stream was 2 hours, and we still didn't discover everything about every character. So
wow.
those people who are saying that this game is, don't even pick it up, it's a waste of your time, it's too simple. Listen, you said something in your dissertation there. You said it raises the talent level. I want to put a different word there. Instead of the word talent, it raises the competition level. Because if it's a simple fighting game and anybody can pick it up, then that means you, the pro, or you, the high level skilled player, are only as good as the opponent in front of you. Which means there is no number one, which I love that. I love the fact that there's probably gonna be a number one person. Somebody's gonna sit on this game and play it nonstop and never go to work and never do anything with their life but play DNF. I mean, that's just gonna happen.
There's gonna be a couple people that are sitting in training mode for like 10 hours a day. You're
gonna have your life losers, is what I like to call them, life losers, who just can't do nothing. They're not good at anything in life other than playing video games. Like, they're great at that, but if you try to be, they suck at being friends. They suck at looking for work. They suck at anything outside of gaming, right? So those are the people who are probably gonna be at the top of the leaderboards when the game comes out. But it still doesn't make them number one. They're just spending more time on the game than anybody else. But here's the thing: the simplicity of the combo system and the approach to the game forces everybody to really respect their opponent.
Nice.
Right? You gotta respect your opponent in DNF Duel, because they got just as much a chance to beat you, and don't let them have a counter pick character that's counter to your character. Like, it's almost like elements, like fire beats ice, or water beats fire. Earth beats lightning, these different elements that are weaknesses to each other but strengths to somebody else. That's the roster. And it's not a weapon. It's not a situation where this person got a different weapon than you. It's all about that character's what that character can and can't do.
And you'll be dealing more with their like creativity or whatever.
Right. So even the counter pick is not a guaranteed win. It's just the fact that if you have that character versus that character, you have more of a chance to win, and it just helps you to learn the whole roster. And it's one of them games where you can play with the whole roster and not try to memorize all these moves. That's what I like about it. As we get older, I'm 40 years old, you almost 40, you know what I'm saying? We got people in their 20s, we're adults, we got lives, we got other games that we play. It's no way to try to, this is why people, when fighting games come out, 3D fighting, 2D fighting, 3-on-3, tag battle, whatever the game is, most people pick a character, maybe two, maybe three, and the third one is a strict maybe. Because if you're trying to memorize all these moves, all these characters on these rosters come with 40 and 50 characters, right?
Yeah.
There's no way for you to try to memorize all those moves. So you're never really, truly gonna be really good at the game, because you're only good with one character, two characters, maybe three. Because you just don't have enough brain power to memorize all that shit. Every time you play a game, if you come back, if you don't play it for a week or two, come back to it, you got to go back to practice mode and practice all over again. You have to go
and be like, oh, what can I do real quick?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah, go into some casual fights or just warm up matches, whatever. Like you got to refamiliarize yourself with the game all over again, even though you've played it a million times. You leave it alone for a week or two, you got to come back and get a refresher. That's just what it is.
Even with Guilty Gear, like I play Strive. I only play one character. I only play Faust. You know,
I only play Potemkin, right?
But when I turn the game on, I still need to, get up in practice mode, and be like, okay, cool. These are my bread and butter combos. This is what I do when I'm trying to get my momentum up. This is what I do to try to be flashy or whatever. These are these things that I need or whatever. And so it makes a lot of sense on that side. I guess next up, we talked about being competitive and things like that. I mean, shoot, even Sonic Fox lost recently. You know what I'm saying? And Dragon Ball.
He lost Dragon Ball. I saw that. He lost. France beat us again. It's like, and listen, speaking to that, using him as an example, back to my example about being number one. Listen, Sonic Fox and Punk lost to the French too. Punk got his butt handed to him on Dragon Ball Z. He's a pro. I beat Punk. I mean, come on, like it's you're not gonna be number one forever. Even Jordan had to retire. Tom Brady may have retired and came back, but trust me, Tom Brady is eventually going to retire. Cause just like Peyton Manning retired, like you're not gonna be number one forever. I don't care who you is, and you shouldn't try to be number one. Looking at Punk and Sonic Fox as an example of being pro gamers. They are getting their butts handed to them in Dragon Ball Z, right? I beat Punk in Dragon Ball Z. So, and it's not that I'm a pro or that I'm high super god rank and I'm a legend myself. It's just that I know how to play the game at a high level. I'm not a button masher. I actually know what I'm doing. I know matchups on Dragon Ball. So when I fought Punk, I actually knew what to do. It doesn't mean I'm better than him. It just means I knew what to do in that matchup. Maybe he would have beat me in a 10 set. Maybe, but we didn't go a 10 set. We only fought twice, and I beat him both times. But the thing is, it's nothing to brag about. It's just the fact that I know that game. Well, DNF Duel is a game where you don't have to memorize all these moves. You don't have to try to memorize Ghost Blade's moves versus Hitman's moves versus Striker's moves. You don't have to memorize nothing. The button inputs are the same across the board. So all you really need to remember is the matchup. You need to know who's weak against who. And the only way to know that is to play the game. You got to play with the character, and you got to fight against the whole roster with that character to see which one of these characters is a weakness or strength or whatever, so on and so forth. So it requires you to actually play. Don't take anybody's word for it. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to these other people. Play the game, DNF Duel, with everybody on the roster, and try your best to fight everybody on the roster with said character, and that will tell you who's weak and who's not. And by that being an option in this game, that forces the pros and the high level guys and everybody who thinks they're godlike in fighting games to temper down a bit. Temper yourself down. You can lose in this game. And I think I'm gonna pass to you in a minute. I think that is the real thing that they're not saying, nerd. But I'm gonna say it. Y'all scared that y'all gonna be getting y'all butts handed to y'all in DNF Duel, and people gonna be clipping it. If somebody fight a pro in DNF Duel and it's a casual person, that casual person is gonna post that clip on social media, and it's gonna be a lot of clips being posted on social media when this game comes out. A lot of casual players are gonna be beating up on a lot of these high-level gamers who trying to check out DNF Duel and get good at it. Well, the casual players are going to get good at this game because it's so easy to get good at. And then as they play these pros online and these high-level guys online who've got prominence, maybe they're not pros, but they're super high level and they got a little following and they got a little sponsorship, but they just not pros. Those guys are going to be taking a lot of L's in this game, but they're not going to say it verbatim like I just said it. They're going to say, this game's too easy. Why would I pick this game up if everybody can be good at it? What you're really saying is that you know you're gonna take some L's in this game, and you're not gonna be super dominant like all these other games, and that scares you. Might
Because
damage your reputation a
the
little bit.
barrier to entry, the knowledge barrier is a lot lower. So
It's a lot lower.
since the knowledge barrier is lower, that means that there's going to be a better chance of people that
Right.
can kind of figure out their game and then put their own spin on it. Because what'll happen is I don't have to sit around and only play like the 10 best people, because these are the 10 best people that figured out every single mechanic and know how to use it exactly at every single moment. Now I have to worry about pretty much each and every person who has the buttons down, because now I'm playing against their creativity. So
All you doing is
now
you playing against their creativity. That's it. This is a creativity freestyle, um, neutral fighting game. It's not. There's no air blocking, and there's no double jumping minus certain characters, because a couple of characters.
oh man, I'm gonna have to get used to no air block. Oh man,
No air blocking. There's no air blocking.
because I'm in GGST in GGST mode, so I'm like, I got my air block back. Oh
They took
yeah,
it. They took it back. They took it back old school to the. Well, Street Fighter V doesn't have air blocking.
yeah, that's why I don't like it.
You know what I'm saying? Street Fighter V don't have air blocking.
Man,
So
you go up in that air, you in trouble.
right. So at the end of the day, it's not so bad that it doesn't have air blocking that it won't make it into the FGC, because Mortal Kombat doesn't have air blocking. Right? Mortal Kombat 11 does not have air blocking. So that's a recent fighting game that doesn't have air blocking, but it still is a decent enough game that you want to play repetitively. So not having air block is not a deal breaker for me, but it is one of my gripes. It is one of my gripes. So if y'all want to know what gripe I had, that's one of them. There's no air blocking. But outside of that, it's not that big a deal. You can overcome it because the game is centered around the neutral game. Less jumping, more ground fighting. Yes, you can jump, and yes, you can be a person who spams jump a lot and jumps a lot. You can be that guy on this game. Just wouldn't recommend it. This game,
yeah, because Crusader got a couple moves and Ghostblade got a couple moves. It's like, man, jumping could be detrimental to your health. You know what I'm saying?
But I think people who play a lot of 2D fighting games, their way of learning how to play first starting off is to jump a lot, right? 2D fighters
to kind of get in.
A lot. Yeah, and that's because they don't know any other way of getting in. You have a button where you can. It's a command dash, but it's really not a dash. It's more like a King of Fighters roll, right? So certain characters roll, certain characters dash, but it's a button. You press that button, and you'll dash forward, and you'll dodge projectiles and attacks. And if you're standing close, you can switch sides with them with that button. But the thing is, but they don't want to use that to get inside. They'd rather arc jump towards you and try to get inside. But
try to do like a deep jump in and
that's fine. That's not bad. It's just that if that's your only way to get inside, is to jump.
You about to get smacked.
Inside, you're gonna get smashed. Like arc jumping is okay, but if that's all you know how to do to get inside is to arc jump towards your opponent, and you can't just walk up to them or dash in, fake them out, or just any type of neutral way to get inside, then you're not going to be very good at this game. You got to learn your neutral in this game.
Yeah, for everyone who's played me when it comes to the good old Guilty Gear, you jump or you hit that air dash, you're about to get smacked. Because I'm about to hit that back. What is that? Back? I guess it's not really light punch. I mean, it's basically light punch, but the back light punch for Faust is that kind of like backhanded slap move or whatever, and it works every time.
Overall, man, I think the game is a good veer off from the norm, right? Because we're used to a certain way of doing things, and I'm a person that's for change. I don't have an issue with change or adjustments or slight differences in a new rendition. Like for me, I think a lot of the complaints in the FGC is that when a new game comes out, especially when Guilty Gear came out, the complaints seem to be like like to me a little redundant because it's like, okay,
Mm.
you're complaining about something new. Guilty Gear Strive is new. It's a new approach to Guilty Gear as a franchise.
Yep.
So why can't we have the Strive version of Guilty Gear? Because you're used to the old Guilty Gear. Like,
Because
what
you
is
like
that about?
Exard or whatever.
Like, what is that about? Like, why you want me to have this? That's my beef with King of Fighters 15. That's my beef with King of Fighters.
Mm.
King of Fighters 15, the graphics are dope, and the game itself is not trash. It's the same game as it's King of Fighters 14, because the King of Fighters community complained and cried about the fact that they wanted the same game. So it's like, okay, okay, cool. You King of Fighters fans, y'all got your game. Your King of Fighters 15 game, y'all just got Rugal. I saw Rugal trailer a couple weeks ago. Okay, you're getting the characters that you want, fine. But you're still playing the same exact game from 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, King of Fighters 14. You're still playing King of Fighters 14, it's just 15.
And you're not gonna get any of the new fans that are
You're
gonna
not
help
getting
keep
no
your
new
franchise alive. Yeah.
No, because what I was expecting a different game. Like King of Fighters 13 was cartoon drawn graphics. 14 was 3D drawn graphics. Still side scrolling 2D, but the characters are more 3D models. And then that's fine. I don't have an issue with 3D model. I have an issue with the gameplay. It's stiff. It's the same game. So fine if that's what y'all like, King of Fighters 15 fans. But I'm not one of those people. And if I had the power, I would not allow the FGC to do that same thing with DNF Duel or KURO. Shout out to is JT, that's his name?
Jesse Wright.
Jesse Wright, JW. I said JT. Shout out to JW for KURO, but don't give us the same game. Give us something different. Make us learn something new. I'm excited at the fact that DNF Duel is not a game where I could use my legacy skill from fighting games and apply it to DNF Duel. DNF Duel is its own game, and you have to learn how to play DNF Duel. You can't bring your Street Fighter knowledge to DNF Duel. You can't bring
it doesn't look like it translates super easy.
No. The only similarities to Marvel vs. Capcom and any other Gatling fighting game is the fact that the Gatling exists. The fact that the Gatling is there is the only similarity. The actual gameplay or fighting is nothing like those games. So you're gonna have to learn this game like a brand new thing. And I like that because then that puts everybody as white belts. You come into the dojo as a white belt. You can't come into the dojo as a black belt because the sensei is not gonna want to teach you. The sensei is gonna want to fight you in front of the class. If you come into and this is me having a martial arts background myself. I ain't practiced martial arts in years. I'm got older. I'm really out of shape, and I'm really like not the young guy I was. The knowledge is there, but my legs and arms can't move like I was when I was a younger man. But I can still pass that knowledge on to my kids and teach them how to fight. You know, I can teach them how to throw a punch, how to throw a kick, how to block, how to put somebody in the chokehold, how to put somebody in the arm bar. Like I know how to fight. It's just that if I got into a fight, I wouldn't be as agile. I wouldn't be as athletic because I'm 40. But what I knew growing up in my teenage years, when you go to a dojo to learn karate, taekwondo, kung fu, whatever they're teaching, you can't come in there arrogant. Yeah, man, I know how to fight. I know how to fight, man. You know what I'm saying? I got to a lot of fights. You know, so you gonna show me something? If that's how you step in the dojo, he gonna point you to the door. And if you persist, you don't walk out that man's door peacefully. He gonna let you stay in there. All right, you want to fight? All right, come in. All right, class. I watched it happen. I was in the class. Dude came in there talking trash to the sensei. Me and my dad, because that's who raised me. That's why I'm so big at martial arts, because my dad's a big martial arts buff. All of the kung fu movies plus real life dojo stuff. So my dad would, when he could afford it, when it wasn't hurting his pockets, he would sign me and him up to different dojos. We learned different martial arts. This particular dojo was a capoeira school, like Eddie Capoeira, right? Mm-hmm. It was a cap. So yes, true. Yes, I know a little capoeira. Yes, I know. I just said that. I was like, this nigga said yes, I said capoeira. I was only there for like 2 months, so of course I didn't learn I didn't master it, but my dad paid for 2 months for me and him to go to capoeira school and just learn capoeira because we saw it. And that first movie that came out, I forget the name of the movie, but they was doing capoeira in the 1990s, and we thought it was cool. So I'm like, Pops, we need to learn how to do that. So he found a school, went to capoeira school. About 2 weeks in, some guy coming out the street, some black guy, like, yeah, man, you know, I can fight. I done scrapped. I done knocked you guys out. The little sensei, he had long dreads. Yeah, he was an older guy. He had gray dreadlocks, beard, dark skinned guy, probably about 6'3", 6'4", tall, slender build, muscular, but he was an old man. And he had his little white. He had on some white pants, white tie-up pants, no shoes, no shirt. And he was just in there dancing, doing the moves from the dance step, trying to show us how to kick, show us how to block, show us how to sway, so on and so forth. The guy comes in, and the sensei turned him around and said, "Hey, brother, listen, this ain't that type of party. If you're not coming here to learn, please don't come in and disrupt in my school." "Yeah, now come on, sensei, I want you to teach me something. How much it costs? What you got? I got money. I got paper. You know, so I just want to learn something." Man, please leave my school, please. He put his hands together like he praying, right? He put his hands together like he did. Praying.
He gave you the humble hands. Whenever a dude get the humble hands, the only step after the humble hands is most likely a fight.
Listen, he said, "Sir, please leave my school. I don't want no trouble with you." Dude wouldn't leave, right? He said, "Okay, all right, I got you, brother." He made us all sit down in Indian style and make a circle, right? We made a circle Indian style, enough space for them to go at it. Then he said, come in, show me what you got. Since you just, now he started talking like a real Negro then. Like his voice switched from proper to straight slang English. Like, come on, bring it. Sorry for cussing, but he said, bring your ass. Come on, bring your ass. Come on in here. So he come in and they take his little shirt off, right? And the inspector start dancing, doing the capoeira dance, but then he stopped dancing. Now this thing, man, been teaching us to dance, the capoeira dance, when you put one foot back, put your hand up, like, you know how Eddie danced, like that's like your resting position. Okay, what he did was he did 3 steps back, 1, 2 dance, bow, 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 3 times. Then he stopped and he stood there with his knees bent, kind of like in like a kung fu position. I was like, that's not capoeira. Dude charged at him. He stepped to the side, pushed him down, got on top of him real quick, put his knee in his back, and put his elbow in the back of his neck. Like he stepped to the side and tripped him. Dude charged at him with like a Superman punch type of thing. He stepped to the side, tripped his foot. Dude fell flat on his stomach. Instructor put his knee in his back and his elbow in the back of his neck and looked around at us. He said, "This is how you take a guy down." That shit was funny. But this is a guy off the street who was coming here talking mess. And so I say all that to say this. You can, if you have legacy skill, if you're a fighting gamer and you play a lot of fighting games and you just get on these games and you
like you demand it, you know, Battle for the Grid, or you demand it, you know, Marvel 3 or something like that.
DNF Duel is going to force you to put your white belt back on. When you first pick up DNF Duel, you're going to have to put your white belt back on. Take your black belt off, take your sensei God level armor off, whatever you wear to indicate that you God rank at these fighting games. When you buy DNF Duel and for the first time you play it, I suggest you put your white belt on, because you are not a black belt in DNF Duel. I don't care if you need smashing buttons and stringing combos together and luckily got to win. You still don't know what you're doing because you just smashing buttons. You don't know,
just playing around right now.
Yeah, you don't know really how you connected that combo or when it was proper to switch and blah blah blah. Like, so with that said, that whole story, it doesn't matter what you know. You can always learn something new. And there's always somebody who can take you down. This old man beat this other young man, and I still don't believe he was doing capoeira, because he didn't do capoeira on that guy. He didn't even, like, he just, like I said, the guy, they was squaring off. The old man did 3 capoeira dances, and he stopped dancing and planted his feet and squatted his knees a little bit slightly, standing sideways instead of facing this. He was standing sideways. Dude charged at him. He sidestepped it like Tekken, tripped him up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this was unchoreographed. This wasn't like choreography on a movie set where you know the guy's about to charge at you. And Sensei didn't know what he was finna do. He just got ready for him. He stopped dancing, which the lesson I learned was the dancing part of capoeira is for cardio. The actual real life fight, if you get into a real life fight and you know capoeira, you're not gonna be dancing so much. You're gonna be standing still a lot. Some of your moves may have a dance to them, but your resting position is not dancing because you're gonna run out of stamina. You're gonna get tired. And that's what Sensei told us. People was like, y'all see a lot of them videos and y'all like capoeira, y'all think this is just dancing all the time. He said even Muhammad Ali couldn't dance all the time. That's what Sensei said. This is a capoeira instructor who said, and this was back in the 90s, he said Muhammad Ali couldn't even dance for 15 rounds. That's just media hype. I'm showing you to dance so that you can get your cardio up and so that you can get used to the execution of your kicks and your punches and your spins and your movement. But when you get into a real fight, you're going to stand still. You're not about to be dancing on. Capoeira is it's a dancing art, but the actual combat, they're not dancing. They're standing still.
All right, so next up, now that you've played the open beta 1 and 2, where would you think the price of this game is going to go? Or do you think we're going to be moving into a free-to-play era? You know what I'm saying?
I'm kind of like up in the air with it because it could go either way. It could be a free-to-play system and you do the DLC joint. I would actually like for it to be a full-price game because I think that with the free-to-play, you're only going to get the core roster. You're not even going to get Ghostblade. Like if it's free-to-play, Ghostblade is going to be DLC too. Ghostblade is not part of the core roster. He's a DLC that they're letting us play with. That when the game comes out, he's the first actual DLC. Ghostblade.
Okay.
Ghostblade is the first DLC for this game. But before Ghostblade, the core roster is who we got for the beta. The first beta. That's the core roster. So the free-to-play would give us that group of people. And then we got to buy Ghostblade or buy the season pass for $39. But the season pass is only for season 1. You still got to buy season pass 2, which is going to be a separate $39. So I feel like I don't have an issue with free-to-play as a business model. I have an issue with DNF Duel being free-to-play because DNF Duel is a game, it's Dungeon Fighters, which is a PC RPG hack and slash type of game. Right, it's derived from it's straight PC only. It's not on any other console. Dungeon Fighter Online is the name of the game, and it's not a fighting game. It's an RPG. It's an action RPG where you can play with all different classes of characters. It's like over 100 characters on that game. It's one of those games where you can never really beat it. It's always something to do
because it just keeps going on and on.
Right, like a mobile game where it's like. You got your little characters and you're just building them up until you max them out to their highest level, and you go through to do complete little missions like a little mobile game. But it's not mobile, it's on PC. That game itself has over 100 characters. Not that the fighting game is going to give us 100 characters, but I'm sure at the end of the season, comes out June, maybe next year in June, next year in December, the end of 2023 going into 2024. I think we'll have the full roster then. It'll probably be about 40, 50 characters. It maybe not give us all 100, but I can see it happening because the reason I can see it happening is because the game itself has so many characters in the lore. So many playable characters in the lore. So maybe y'all don't have the time to give us 100, but I expect at least 40 or 50 of those characters.
And a real quick shout out, I just noticed we got a listener. I was in the other screens, but what up, Tannic? Nice to see Tannic up in here. You know what I'm saying?
Tannic,
big shout out.
Tannic, that's my brother. That's my brother. We do the fantasy sports podcast with. That's my brother.
Oh, word. That's because I be sharing that. I be sharing that all the time. So that's what's up.
Yeah. So that's him. That's one half of the recap fantasy sports show.
I'm glad you brought up sports because I wanted to get your insight on where you think this will fall on the esports side. Like we know Arc Revo is already saying, Arc Revo is going to be GGST and DNF. So do you think this is going to be a game that's going to be like really big and really splashy on the
Most definitely.
esports scene.
Most definitely. I think it'll take a couple of months though. I think they're gonna be a little prejudiced towards it the first couple of months it comes out. But once enough people playing it, the esports they ain't gonna have no choice. If Smash made it in, if Smash Brothers made it into esports, bro, this game belongs in esports. Like, this game is better than Smash Brothers. This game is better than Street Fighter 5. Yes, I said that.
Wow.
Yes, I said that. Yes, I actually said that.
SF5 kind of turned me off because there's a couple of things that came together for SF5 that turned me off. But this is made by ARCKATRON again, and it's just beautiful to look at. Like,
right.
on a base level, I would rather look at GGST than SFV. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is another one where it's just good to look at. You know what I'm saying? It's just a beautiful game to look at, before we go anywhere else. So hopefully the esports does take to it. I'd like to see it. I'd like to enter a tournament or two just to have some fun and like see where the creativity takes this game, because like you said, like freestyle, it does have this very it seems like it's very inviting energy to people that want to tinker and play around and just be like loose with it, instead of a very rigid system of, okay, this is exactly when you activate, this is exactly how you do this and exactly how you do that. Instead, you have a roster full of people where everyone, I think, has a pretty decent chance to win.
Yeah,
and
everybody got a fighting chance, man. And I actually like that, man. I'm not intimidated by people, by there being a lot of people learning how to play the game. That's just more competition for me to get better. Like, you know what I'm saying? And here's another reason why I like more people playing. I hate playing a fighting game where I go online and the server matches me with the same person I fought 2 minutes ago, because there's not that many people playing.
Yeah, because there's no one else.
You see what I'm saying? Because nobody plays this game but these two guys, right? So the more the merrier, because I can get on this game and I always fight somebody different. But if only 50 people playing this game, or 500 people, or 5,000, all over the world, I'm more than likely the server is going to match me to that person again on any day of the week. Yep. That's the problem I'm running into.
Because the server going to be like, ain't nobody else.
Ain't nobody else. So that's why I shun and cringe at what you said earlier about whoever that group of people saying that the game is too simple and this game is trash. No, listen, the more people that play a game, the better my experience is on the game, because I don't have to keep fighting the same people. The servers are only going to match you to who's online. The servers are going to match you to the person who's also inside the lobby looking for a fight. You put your fight settings up, you looking for a fight, no matter what game you're playing. And then another person put their settings up and y'all both sitting in a lobby waiting on a fight to match you. If, like Guilty Gear Strive, you can pick your opponents. I love that system. Give me the option to pick my opponents. DNF Duel lets you pick your opponent, because at least I see that this guy is in this room today. I'm not fighting him today. I fought him already, right? I want to fight somebody else.
I got you.
Win or lose, it's not about winning and losing. It's about learning how to play the game. I need to fight more people who fight differently.
I can't fight the same person over and over.
Yeah. But if not that many people is playing that particular game, you're gonna fight the same people every time you turn that game on. Even if you take a week off, I'm telling you, I played DNF Duel all weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a little bit, like, I think I got up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, and I turned it on for like an hour just to get a last hour out of it before the stuff was over. Which means I didn't play none of my other fighting games for 4 days almost. I turned Tekken on because I can't play DNF no more because it's over. And I'm telling you, the server matched me to the guy I just fought Thursday. I fought somebody on Tekken Thursday. I'm telling you, nerd. I fought this guy. I was playing with Leroy. I fought this guy Thursday, right before I went to bed Thursday night. I was playing Tekken like that night. I stayed up till like maybe 10 o'clock, maybe midnight. I don't know. It wasn't that late. I went to bed because I got up early that next day. I fought the guy. I kind of remember his name, but not really like how to spell it. But I turned Tekken on today. This morning, I played Tekken. I'm talking about, I got up this morning. I was getting ready for work, but I wanted to play like an hour before I went to work. And during that hour, I was matched to this guy twice. I just fought this. Today's Monday. So all that tells me is he's been playing Tekken every single day up until Monday. He has not turned the game off at all, because that's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence, because it keeps happening with different guys, not this guy, but it keeps happening where I keep seeing the same PlayStation accounts every day. Not every day, but every time I turn the game on, I'm seeing the same PlayStation account. Even if I haven't fought that guy or that person in a week, I'll go a week without. I got 6 fighting games. There's no way I can play them all.
What did Nate Dogg say? Everywhere the city we go, I see the same pro. No.
Yeah, and the same. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's my issue with the great. Because here's the thing. Here's what I actually am scared of. DNF Duel is one of them companies, or Arc System is one of them companies that listens to the community. So whatever we say, they're gonna do it. They've done it already. They've shown us that we can gripe and complain about something, and they'll actually patch it and give us what we're complaining about. Don't complain about DNF Duel and say it's trash, because here's what's gonna happen. We're not gonna get the game we want. I want DNF Duel to be simple. I want the game the way it is, because first of all, it levels the competition. Right? It makes people actually want to play. If the person feels like they have a chance, they're gonna want to keep playing. If a person
it also makes you kind of play the game more than just knowing a list of like special technicalities.
Right? Like these because the guys who complain and the ones that are in the FGC who this applies to, right? This ain't everybody. Those guys don't have lives, and I ain't trying to shade them or nothing, or be on any type of shade. I'm just being honest. You only play video games. That's it. You don't do nothing else with your time, with your life. So everything you complaining about on your channel is video game related. Man, I hate this fighting game. This fighting game is this. You got 17 videos on how you hate a fighting game, but you keep playing it. 17 videos on one game. All 12 of those 17 videos is you complaining about the game.
And there's other games. And there's other games to play. Like right now, we can probably list. Okay, all right. So, and I'm not even like a FGC master or connoisseur, but okay. So we got GGST. We got Marvel 3 that people are still competing in. You got Street Fighter 5. You got Melty Blood. You got Blaze Blue. You got Tekken. You got Mortal Kombat. You got Skullgirls. You got Dragon Ball. You got Fighters. So that's 9 right there. I'm sure I can think of another one, a 10th one that I'm just blanking on. What is it? Psychopaths or whatever. What's it? It's another anime fighter. So that's 10 games. Try another one. You got Smash. You got Brawlhalla. You got
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like. Oh, also I forgot. Even though I don't know the support for it, but I mean, when you cut in the Smash, you got Smash, Brawlhalla. You got the Nickelodeon joint. You got DC's one that isn't here yet, but it's coming. And I ain't going front. I will be getting that. I'm not the best at platform fighters, but just the fact that I can have a team of like Shaggy and Superman, that's just going to be fun. So it's it's just going to be fun. It's going to be fun to like play that just for giggles. And like Battle for the Grid, you know what I'm saying? There's tons of games. So why are you sitting around complaining about that one game?
And not
when there's at least 13 that I just listed off.
And not that those complaints that they have aren't valid or anything. I share some of their sentiments, but how many times you gonna make the same exact complaint?
Yeah.
Because at some point it gets to a point where it's clicks and views now. Like
Yeah, it's kind of like hate watching kind of thing. It's like let's just dump on this game.
Right. So, and my thing is, I say that to say, because this is any fighting game. I'm saying this: the guys, the FGC people who are prominent and have this complaint, that just the prominent ones. I'm not coming to everybody. I'm coming to ones who got big followings, who have made videos trashing DNF Duel. Those channels are being watched by ARC System. But this is why we have to like rebut that, because that person in particular has a little more influence than the average person who doesn't really do social media like that well. They just have a social media, but they're not really gamers like that.
Yeah, they're not like a influencer or something.
Yeah, for me, a fighting game, the more people playing it, the more likelihood I'm gonna fight somebody different when I do sit down and play the game. Because one thing that'll turn me off from a fighting game is not necessarily the developer. It's the fact that I keep seeing the same people. See, and that's not the developer's fault per se. It's the developer's fault in the sense that a lot of people don't want to play their game anymore. So the audience is dwindling. So and that developer needs to take a second look at their game and see why people are moving away. In that regard, they have fault. But for the most part, they can't control the fact that this guy is online today, I'm online today with that guy, and the server matches us up. Their developers can't. That's not their fault. But if a game has a big audience, a lot of people playing it, the likelihood of me running into the same person will be a lot less than it is with Tekken and these other games. I'm telling you, I'm fighting the same exact people on Tekken. I'm not fighting anybody different.
Well, and Tekken is, it is about time. Tekken's a little old now. Yeah. I know there's a whole bunch of mods for it, but Tekken is kind of it's probably time for Tekken 8. Yeah,
Tekken 8 is in development. I know that for a fact because Harada kind of hinted at it, but it ain't coming out this year.
Nah. Y'all might. I feel y'all probably see a trailer for it next year for it to drop in 2024.
We'll see a trailer for it this year, but we're not gonna. But the game itself to play, we'll be lucky to get a beta for it starting next year. We'll be lucky to get a beta. Okay. And if we get a beta, that's an indicator that the game is going to come out sometime next year. But I doubt very seriously that Bamco is going to let us play a Tekken beta. I doubt it because they're too arrogant. They're too arrogant to try to follow the same business model as ARC System. ARC System invented the beta stuff with the Guilty Gear Strive. They gave us a beta. Well, they ain't gonna say they invented it. They kind of put the beta idea on the map because they ain't the only developer.
Yeah, because FPS games have been doing it for a long time.
Mm-hmm. But doing a beta before you put a game out will give you all the information you need on a game. That way you don't waste money on a rollout. You want your game to roll out and everybody to buy it. So let me play the game a little bit because y'all got devs that play it. The devs test the game out before it comes out. Let us test it. Let us be the devs, right?
Also, the devs can't find every single problem. You know what I'm saying?
No, because as soon as they put the last beta out, people found infinite combo. And what did they do? They fixed that. The second beta, there's no infinite combos anymore. Which I love the fact that this game does not have infinite combo. Because an infinite combo makes me not want to play the game. Touch of Death, infinite combo, whatever. If you can pull it off, cool. But if the game is surrounded on infinite combos like Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, it's a game I'm not going to keep playing. Because I have to be able to escape your combo. Even Mortal Kombat has a combo breaker. Even Mortal Kombat has a combo breaker.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can get a person into a big juggle in Mortal Kombat, but they can break out of it.
Even the game that kind of built itself on combos, which was Killer Instinct, and the new version, which is more game. I didn't list King of Fighters, Killer Instinct, and Virtual Fighter is back, sort of. So there's, like we said, there's tons of tons of opportunities, but still, like even Killer Instinct doesn't have infinites, and that kind of built itself on on combos and like naming the combos and all that stuff.
Right. So I just think that the underlying truth about why a lot of these high pro guys shun this DNF game, the simplicity of it, is because they know that they are definitely in for a ride once everybody gets their hands on it, because everybody didn't play the beta. Even the people who have PlayStations still didn't play the beta. They just didn't have time.
And us PC guys never even got to touch it.
Right. PC
but I mean,
guys
also for good reason.
Right. But the game is gonna have rollback and crossplay. I meant to say crossplay, not rollback. The game's gonna have crossplay. DNF Duel is gonna have crossplay. So once the PC people who actually played Dungeon Fighter Online, the RPG, who were really playing, all of that community is coming off top. Automatically, the Dungeon Fighter Online,
they'll at least want to try it out.
Yeah, because that's their game. DNF Duel is their game turned into a fighting game. That's what this is. It's new to me and you. I didn't play Dungeon Fighter
very
Online.
Very similar to Project L too.
Right.
Project L is probably going to get a lot of. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be an interesting mix of fandoms, because we'll be mixing FGC kind of community with I guess you could say like more RPG communities. That's gonna be interesting to see the discourse online, because those two communities don't exactly mix. That's gonna be interesting.
And I'm just saying, like, I think with that said, you got all of the DNF Duel or DNF Online community, all them PC people, all them people who have PCs and just played this game, and then now it's a fighting game now. They're coming. Then you got the people who just didn't get a chance to play either beta because their timing was bad. It's like this beta coming out this weekend. Well, some of the people had to work. Some people were busy. They just couldn't sit there and play the beta, or maybe they could play the beta, and the fact that it didn't have a practice mode turned them off. But then again, Guilty Gear didn't have a practice mode either. You understand me? So, the Guilty Gear beta. So here's the thing. Once everybody gets a chance to play the actual game, not the beta.
Yeah. Once everybody's in there for about a month.
Yeah, I say it comes out June 28th. So I say the whole month of July, the whole month of August, October, we'll be able to see who's really where everybody is. And then you got the people who ain't gonna buy it when it first come out because it's too expensive. They're not gonna probably buy it till like January when GameStop bring the price down. So we need a good 8 months, 8 full months of DNF Duel to really assess the competition. And I know that these high pro guys are gonna be mad at the fact that so many people gonna be serving them L. They gonna get these L's, bro. These L's is coming for all these pros.
Because what'll happen is there's probably gonna be because it seems seemingly from the way it plays, the easiest transfer might be like Battle for the Grid over to DNF, or maybe something like Fighters with the more simple-ish controls.
Right.
But those people, once they start transferring over and feeling like they like the game, it's probably going to level out where there's going to be a lot of high level players, which should be great, which should be a lot of fun. Right. So my next thing is we've seen the roster, and at least from my screen, it looked like there's space for about 5 more people.
Yeah, I saw that too.
You were saying that you think it might be up to like 40 people or something like that.
Oh yeah, there's nothing for them to expand and condense that little roster box and make it like zoom out a little bit just to create some space. I mean, or add a row
or something like that.
Yeah, add a row. Maybe not this season. Maybe I say by December we'll have season 1 done of DNF Duel. Come January, it'll be a DNF Duel 2.0 or DNF Duel season 2, where I just can't For marketing business model purposes, it makes no sense to have a game that has over 100 characters in its lore, 100 playable characters in an action RPG, and you only give us like 20 of them. Like, to me, that doesn't make any business sense. It makes sense because what they're really doing with DNF Duel is they're trying to sell the Dungeon Fighter Online game. They're trying to sell more copies of that game by making the Dungeon Fighter the fighter version. So the franchise itself, Dungeon Fighter Online, the franchise,
it kind of feeds itself.
They would do well to give us at least 40 of those 100 characters. You don't have to give us 100. Okay. That's too much. That's just too much.
Yeah, that's way too much.
But 30 characters, I say 40 because that's just a number I just made up. Realistically, it might be like 30 characters.
Because I think like when you're talking about something like Marvel, you're looking at like what, about 30, 40, maybe like 50 characters.
Right. So this game doesn't have to have
not
50.
all of them were actually viable. But I mean, it depends. Sometimes you'd be like, oh, this character is corny, and then like some random player from like Peru like cracked the code, and you're like, whoa, hold up, I didn't know this character was this sweet. You know what I'm saying? So
I say realistically 30, 32 in the 30s range. In the 30s.
All right.
High 30s.
With the characters, are there certain characters that you'd like to see that, I mean, even though we haven't played the Dungeon Fighter Online, is there like a character archetype that maybe you haven't seen yet that you'd like to see?
Well, it's hard for me to answer that because this is a new fighting game and the character archetypes are completely different than what I'm used to. But it doesn't mean I don't like it. It doesn't mean that I have an issue with it. It's one of the things where you don't know what you like until you try something. Right?
Yeah.
So if you've never eaten at a restaurant, you can't say that, well, what would you like for this restaurant to serve you? Well, I've never eaten there, so I don't know. But what they fed me so far, I like. I like the menu at this DNF Duel restaurant. So to say, well, I wish y'all had this on the menu. Well, the menu that they have is a completely new cuisine that I've never had. So I don't really know what I want until I play the game itself. But the character archetypes on here are nothing like what you're used to in a character archetype. Because this is a weapons game. This is like a samurai showdown game with Gatling.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll say this game seems to be doing what I wish the new Samurai Showdown would. Maybe not. Because Samurai Showdown, when it came back out, I was so excited because depending on where you're from, or the area, I used to play Samurai Showdown at Pro Park all the time when I was younger, and it was the bomb. Yeah. But this Samurai Showdown is so slow.
I don't like it. I traded Samurai Showdown into GameStop to get another game. Matter of fact,
it's very slow.
I traded my Samurai Showdown in to get Guilty Gear Strive last year.
So okay.
And if you notice, I never made any Samurai Showdown content, and I had the game, but I never made content for it because I wasn't playing it. It was just sitting in the box collecting dust, and I just was. When Guilty Gear Strive came out, I took it to GameStop and traded it in and got that discount for Guilty Gear Strive.
My biggest thing is like how slow it was. And there's a character on there that I thought was really dope. I think there's a sister on there that had like this cool looking sword, and I was like, oh. But then when I saw like the gameplay, I was like, why is it so slow? And I was just like, I already know this ain't for me. On the flip side, when I was talking about characters that, I might like with you while you were streaming, and you brought up Inquisitor, I did a quick YouTube search. I was like, oh yes. That'll work.
I was saying that for you because of the way you fight. Inquisitor is very methodical and patient. She's not a rush down character, even though you might see some videos of her rushing people down. She has a counter move. One of her moves is a counter. So she'll lift her axe up in a stance, and if you hit her while she's in axe stance, it's a counter. The Dragon Lady also has a counter. So Dragon Lady and Inquisitor has a counter move. It's a command counter. That's what it is. So if you do it,
okay.
Oh, and Crusader, he has a counter too. Crusader also has a command counter.
Yeah, he got that. He got the Urian wall that he be throwing on people.
No, not the wall. He has an actual counter move where it's like a Leroy counter. Like it's a parry where if you hit him while he's in counter stance,
that follows into a move.
Yeah, he'll uppercut you with that bat, with that hammer. I mean, so 3 characters with the counter move. That's why I say Inquisitor for you, because for one, she's got the death wheel, right? If you put that frame trap.
Oh,
that death wheel is a frame trap. Even if they're blocking it, you can run in on them and still do block strings to them or grab them. You can.
Yeah, because Kunoichi has a similar move with like this fire,
with the flame,
like this fire tornado. Right.
If she gets you in a corner, of course if you're smart, you're gonna block it. But it's a 25 hit combo by itself.
Jeez.
That flame and the death wheel for both characters, if hit confirmed, if you just do nothing but just let it just do its thing, the flame tornado for the Kunoichi is a 25 hit combo by itself. The wheel on the Inquisitor is a 25 hit combo by itself. Now, let's say you hit confirm the very first hit off the flame wheel, you dash in and you do a whole Gatling coupled with a special move, and if you're blinking super, you can connect it to a super and get like a 50 hit combo plus a death kill damage.
Wow.
If you can, of course the fight's gonna go back and forth, but when you get down to red health and you about to finish him off, if you can connect somehow Kunoichi's flame wall or Inquisitor's wheel, and all those hits confirmed, that's a death combo. From half, it'll take away half their life at full life. If they hit the half bar,
the meters look kind of serious as far as like the damage you take. It looks like it's a very, it's a very urgent game as in like the amount of damage you can take if someone gets on a roll. But with that said, you know what I'm saying, we want to thank you for providing us with your information, your wisdom, gained through these open betas. If you could hit us with some final thoughts and tell us where we can find you.
Final thoughts. I think DNF Duel, at least give it a try. You don't have to like it just because I do, but give it a try. It's a very simple fighting game. It's not going to require you to have big brain to play, but of course if you have a big brain, that would help you as far as like how you approach it. And you can find me on Twitter, of course, Open Mynd, spell it with a Y, Open Mynd, spell it with a Y, on YouTube, and I am Open Mynd on IG, and just make sure you spell it with a Y. And that's it. Creator bless y'all. Thank y'all for listening.
All right, this what's up. And of course, NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all them places. Hit that thumbs up if you like what you seeing. Down if you don't, share it on Twitter, YouTube, podcast, all that jazz. Hopefully y'all dug it. Hopefully you got to play it. If you did not get to play it, then it's coming soon. June is not that far off. So until next time, this is from us to y'all saying thank you for rolling through and peace.
Peace.
Yeah.